Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining this HARP session. My name is Nahielly Palacios. I'm a lecturer in education at the University of Manchester, and I will be your facilitator. For those who are not familiar with the program, HARP stands for Holistic Academic and Research Reflective Practice. This is an online developmental program designed to foster researcher and academic reflexivity, peer led learning, and a sense of community and shared understanding among academics and researchers within the University of Manchester and beyond. We often include SEED alumni as panelists and attendees, as well as other universities around the globe. Whether you are a novice, beginner, proficient, or expert in your field, everyone is welcome to join. Let's meet our international panel. And panelists, as I mention your name, can you just give us a wave to know who you are and where you are on our screens, because we are probably in different spaces. So first, joining us live is Cong Huang, SEED alumnus of the MA International Education Program. Next, we have Dr. Siti Fitria, lecturer in education in the Faculty of Education at the University of Jember. Also joining us live is Dr. Kwan Sutraforan Tantiniranat, assistant professor in the Department of Western Languages at Budapest University. And finally, we have Dr. Nasharil Nasrim Ramli, who was unable to attend today as he's traveling to Malaysia. But we met early this week and recorded a podcast that I will be sharing with you today. So all the panelists have been invited to reflect on a moment when their spark, and by spark we mean initial research idea, began, to on when that spark started to feel as a heavy weight. So they will tell us what happened, how they felt, and what they learned. And to kick us off, I'd like to invite Con Huang to share his experience with us.
Thank you. So hello, everyone. My name is Cong Huang, and you can just call me Cong, and I come from China. I graduated with distinction from the University of Manchester with an MA in International Education and specializing in TESOL. And I'm really happy to be here today to look back on my research journey and share my experiences with all of you. And next slide, please. Yes. So when I think about my spark, it didn't come from brilliance. It came from frustration, because I am someone who struggles deeply with indecision and perfectionism. So whenever I make an important decision, I ask myself, is this good enough? What if this fails? What if I regret it? And during the period when I was trying to settle on my dissertation topic, I was sitting in front of my laptops for days, scrolling through articles, numb and exhausted. I kept thinking of potential topics, but whenever I quickly checked the literature, I realized that they would not work, and I had to discard them. It became just like a vicious cycle. So on the surface, I looked like I was, working seriously at my desk, but in reality, I was just endlessly procrastinating, and it felt like I kept waiting for someone to save me, someone to tell me, yes, this is the right topic, just go for it. So then one day, almost out of desperation, I thought, well, if I procrastinate this much, why don't I just study procrastination? It felt almost ironic because, but when I searched the literature, I realized that this was viable. There was research, there was a space. And for the first time in weeks, I felt relief. I thought, yeah, maybe I'm not stuck. Maybe this could work. And that was my spark. And in that moment, I felt excited and thrilled, and maybe a small sense of pride arose in me for realizing that I actually could derive a research topic from my own personal traits. Yeah. So next slide, please. Yes. So, but the spark didn't stay light for long, because my program, MA International Education, TESOL pathway required my topic to connect strongly to both international education and the TESOL. So I initially proposed what factors lead to Chinese international students' academic procrastination, right? And I share it in one of our modules, the educational research methods and design class. And the lecturer, the Dr. Ray, just asked me simple questions. So what is the TESOL connection? Remember, you're on the TESOL pathway. And that question felt like a blow. So suddenly, my spark felt exposed and incomplete. My spark felt fragile and uncertain. I felt embarrassed. I felt naive. I felt like I had missed just something obvious. And here's where the emotional shift happened. The topic I loved started to feel like a burden because with the deadline approaching, I didn't know if I could come up with a better research idea or topic. I just simply couldn't let it go, but I didn't know how to make it work. And this deep sense of helplessness trapped me in procrastination all over again. And it felt like it became a kind of cage. I watched my classmates move forward, defining topics, writing literature reviews, and drafting proposals, while I was just, circling in confusion and trapped in my own indecision. And the longer I delayed, the heavier it felt. It wasn't just about the topic anymore. It became a question about me as a researcher. So, am I capable of doing this research? Why can't I just decide? And why does this seem, relatively easy or manageable for anyone else, but impossible for me? And that was when uncertainty turned into self-doubt. So, but what made this change? What changed things wasn't sudden clarity, and it was just speaking out loud. So one day, I was really fed up with this statement. I reached a point where I simply couldn't, stand myself anymore. I was exhausted by my own paralysis. And in that moment, I felt intensely that I couldn't just sit there and stew in my thoughts anymore. So I started talking to friends, classmates, lecturers, supervisors, anyone I trusted, not necessarily to get answers, but just to release the pressure and let my thoughts breathe. And something surprisingly happened. So when I said my fears out loud, they became less threatening. When I explained my massive thoughts verbally, they slowly became structured. So speaking wasn't about finding the solution for me. It was about making the uncertainty visible instead of letting it, consume me silently. Then came a pivotal moment. I would like to call it pivotal moment. I approached one lecturer and explained my confusion. She didn't give me an answer directly. Instead, she said, "You know what? Your confusion is actually quite easy to resolve. Just to break down your key terms. What does international education include? What does TESOL include? What key elements can you think of?" It sounds simple now, but at that moment, it shifted everything. Right, international education, of course, different countries, different, maybe like educational system, right? Maybe different educational policies. But TESOL, language skills, and language skills include what? Listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Bingo, writing. And suddenly the connection appeared. I'm going to study the Chinese international students' academic procrastination in second language academic writing, and then discussed my research idea and topic with three lecturers and, of course, my supervisor, Martin. Nahielly was one of them. I'm not sure if you still remember this. This is crucial because it has boosted my confidence enormously. So I can honestly say that after 3 months of indecision and procrastination, I finally confirmed my dissertation topic. Of course, this is not something I would recommend because the psychological pressure during that period was enormous, and of course, catching up later was really painful. Yeah, so decide early and start early. So as you can see, it wasn't a dramatic breakthrough. It was just a small reframing, but that reframing made this commitment possible. At first glance, you might think, what? Just this simple? And how come it took you so long? But you know what? At that time, under all the pressures and stress, my mind was incredibly chaotic. But I have to be honest, looking back, it's always for us to easy to, downplay the experience, but the pain and agony I felt at the time was really beyond words. But I'm happily I made it through. And so even, after confirming my topic, the uncertainty didn't disappear. Every decision felt heavy. Should I go qualitative or quantitative? What data collection method would make this credible, and which framework was suitable, was strong enough, and who exactly should I recruit as participants? So you see, each stage brought the same voice back. What if this is wrong? What if it doesn't work? What if I fail? What if, endlessly, what if? But something had changed. I realized that uncertainty is not a signal that I am incapable. It is just a natural part of committing to something that matters. So I stopped waiting to feel 100% certain. Instead, I moved forward with maybe like a 60% clarity and maybe 40% doubt. So I gradually shifted my mindset from what if to even if. And I no longer choose to silently bear the pressure and the fear by myself. I asked support when I need it. And this, I believe, is one of my great fortunes. Whenever I needed help, there were always friends or lecturers, and of course, my supervisor around to comfort me and give me strength. Looking back, I don't think my struggle was merely, about the topic. In a way, this seemed to be about identity as a researcher. I wanted to choose the perfect topic because I wanted to prove that I was a competent researcher. I wanted to achieve an outstanding result. But gradually, I realized that research is not about certainty. It is about learning to act while uncertain. Let me tell you something. The truth is, that research journey is always full of uncertainties. What I'm trying to say is that even after all of this, the imposter feeling didn't disappear, but I stopped treating it as evidence that I didn't belong. I now see it as just a part of the emotional reality of doing research seriously. And maybe that is the real shift. Uh, you know, commitment is not the absence of doubt. It is just the willingness to carry doubt and fear with you. And through my research journey, I realized deeply that not just about research, but perhaps the only certainty in life is uncertainty. While we fearing the negative consequences that uncertainty may bring, we should never forget the it, we should never forget to imagine the best possible scenarios too. So why not play around with it and see what emerges? And on this uncertainty journey, never forget the peers, the lecturers, and the supervisors by your side. Always reach out to them. Always reach out to them. Always turn to those around you for help, especially experienced instructors, the lecturers, the supervisors, because many problems we perceived as extremely difficult to handle are ones they've probably already navigated countless times. So they can
Yes.
provide you with highly constructive advice and solutions. And this is the story I wanted to share with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Cong, for this story, for sharing your experience. As a supervisor of MA students and PhD students, I can hear the struggle to settle on a feasible dissertation topic and how common and very real this is um, for everybody engaging in research, engaging in their research journey. I can also hear the relevance of articulating your research ideas with your dissertation supervisors and your tutors, classmates, as this can help clarify your own thinking. Um, it is with other people that you can work with this uncertainty or uncertainties that you experience throughout your journey. Thank you very much for sharing.